All right, Mario Valdivieso, Sing Me to Sleep is the short film played at the Romance and Relationship Film Festival. It's 25 minutes long. This is a film from DePaul University, correct?
Correct. I was attending DePaul at the time that I wrote and made the film. So
Was this like your
yeah.
thesis film?
No, actually, I'm a screenwriting concentration, so we didn't actually get to make a film for our thesis. But I wrote it there for a class, and I figured, if I'm gonna make it, I might as well utilize the tools, the equipment, and the access to cast or to crew. Uh, to just do it there. If I'm paying tuition for grad school, I might as well take advantage of it, right?
Wait, because did you? I'm assuming you used their equipment and you were able to.
Yeah, yeah. If you go there, and you uh hire mostly a crew from the school, you're able to use their equipment for free. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that I felt like I couldn't pass up the opportunity and use it to make a movie.
Is this your first film that you made?
No, I made a short. I want to say, Jesus, like when I was in undergrad, probably like 15 years ago. Yeah, I'm a kind of a late bloomer when it came to grad school. I decided to go a little later in life. So, yeah, I made a short film then, but it wasn't as polished as this one, or, I didn't have the tools to kind of make the movie I wanted. So this time around, I really wanted to make sure that this is the movie I wanted to make.
So okay, so it's it's about a couple. The female has terminal cancer, and he brings her home and to basically for her last days. So it's a very kind
Yeah,
of bittersweet, sad film with a
yeah.
lot of love in it. I'm curious where the story came from for yourself.
Yeah, so me and my partner have been together for 5 years now, and we started dating uh just before COVID, right? Like 3 months. And then COVID hit. And we decided, you know what, we're gonna move in together because she's immune compromised. So if she got sick, COVID would have taken a toll on her.
Yeah,
So we did that, and 6 months into our relationship, she ended up getting COVID, and it was actually quite serious. She had like double pneumonia. So when we were at the hospital, we asked the doctor like what's next, and he was like, I don't know. So it was like super scary. But luckily, everything worked out and she got the antibiotics she needed. But she was in the hospital for like a month. So it was just kind of like, it kind of made me think like, it's about a story of like, what if something were to end before it really got a chance to begin?
yeah,
And that was kind of the genesis of the idea. And, since the movie, I decided to kind of make it a little more dramatic than real
sure,
life because
yeah. But
yeah,
that was
but
the inspiration.
yeah, that was the inspiration. And like also it I wanted to show to make a movie about what it's like to take care of somebody
Yeah,
that's sick. So I want to include that, in that thesis of like well, the other one I was talking about, beginning before or ending before it really began.
yeah, and yeah, you kind of show both sides in a lot of ways. Where like for the person who's sick, it's a little bit, it's almost like dare I say, embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you kind of show those emotions in the film.
Yeah, I think for that character, for her, it's she's kind of already accepted it, and she's like just kind of pushing him to like accept it because I don't think that he has throughout the movie, and I think that's kind of the central conflict in the movie. I mean, I know it's kind of internal, but I think you see it with
Yeah.
how she's wanting to go out on a date, how she doesn't want to sleep in a hospital bed anymore. She's like, she's done with it and she's ready to move on, and I think the movie's about getting him to get there as well.
Yeah, it's that's what I mean. There's like but anybody who's gone through death kind of really relates to your film, not just the relationship, but just like seeing sickness and people dying in any way. It's like it brings back a lot of emotions.
Yeah, yeah, I actually got that a lot when people watched it.
Yeah.
We had a private screening in Chicago, and one of the audience members who's like a friend of a friend, his wife died of cancer, and he was
Oh,
like, "You nailed it, man." And I was like, I was like, kind of proud of that because we really wanted to make something that felt like real and kind of subtle, but also, dramatic. But I really didn't want to fall into melodrama, and I
Yeah.
I don't think that we do. So I'm proud. I was really proud to hear that.
Well, you let the performance tell the story. You don't overly do it with music or kind of like overly sentimental, like sentiment, make it overly sentimental. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I love music and movies, and some of my favorite movies have scores and stuff. But I when it comes to like what the kind of stories I like to tell, I kind of don't want to tell people how to feel.
Yeah.
And I feel like music can do that, especially in dramas. So like it might be a little European, but I kind of enjoy the movies where it's like things are happening, but there's nothing to like really tell you like what to emote. You just have to like kind of watch it and kind of deal with it on your own.
So you kind of had those emotions when, like, of course, your partner was okay, but you had those emotions where you didn't know. It was like touch and go. You're
Yeah.
at the hospital, so and it was one of those things where like it's one of those diseases where you didn't know where it was going to head, I guess, too, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was totally unpredictable at the time. And this was before the vaccine. So it really was like, who knows what's going to happen. And, a lot of things that Julia says to Mark are some things that she actually said to me at the time. So it was, you know, I wanted to include that just again to like kind of show the realness of that situation and
Yeah.
how dire it can feel.
Are you guys still together?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Still
great.
together. She's thriving, so we both got boosted, so we're good.
What did she think of the film?
Well, actually, she was a huge part of it. She helped me produce it. She's actually, I don't know if you see the credits, Kira
Yeah.
Obradovich. Um,
Oh, that's her. Okay, gotcha.
yeah, so she
Yeah.
helped me like, budget the movie and help with craft services and was just like really involved, which is kind of great to have, especially when you're, producing a movie on your own. It's great to have that kind of support and also the willingness to like be a part of it. So she was a part of the movie, obviously, in like every way, from conception to completion. So
So obviously the two leads are key to your film. Where did you find them?
yeah, so we put up a an ad on backstage.com, and we got a bunch of tapes or you know videos, and we auditioned a bunch of people. And when we saw both their videos, we were the most impressed with them. We had a feeling it was going to be them, but I had to see them in a room together first. So she read with a bunch of other guys, and he read with other women, but specifically he read with her, and they just kind of had an automatic like this is it kind of chemistry, even though they didn't know each other at all. So yeah, that's kind of how that happened. Yeah, like I said, their videos are so impressive. They just kind of they had to read that the scene when they come back from the restaurant, and they just both kind of immediately understood what that scene was. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But obviously their chemistry is so important, right? That I'm assuming they didn't know each other before they started filming.
no, they didn't. And honestly, during filming, obviously they were cordial and friendly with each other, but they kind of like went their own ways during like a breaks and stuff. Like, he read a book and she was working on like her own script. So
Yeah.
they were able to just tap in like once the camera started rolling, and then once it was off, they kind of did their own thing, which we were like all super impressed with.
But that kind of makes sense for this performance because it starts on a nine, like from an emotional level. It
Yeah.
doesn't stop. It doesn't go down. Doesn't like you know what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
so in every scene that they have together is so intense that having a casual conversation between takes, you know what I mean? Like I
Oh
understand the
yeah.
process. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think this was these were two very hard roles.
Yeah.
No matter how you cut it. So it was important to find people that understood what the roles were. But I think it was also important to understand, or for those actors to have their own process on how to deal with those emotions and how to really bring it in front of the camera. And then, like you said, there's a lot going on in front. So maybe when it came time to call cut, they're just like, all right, you know what? I need to go off in the corner and just kind
Yeah.
of do my own thing until we have to like roll again.
Yeah, it's almost like disengaging from the intensity, right? So
Absolutely, yeah. And I will say I was, they were so good because every take they had the same performance unless I told them to like alter it. So it really helped in like time management because when you're making a film, you some actors need a lot some more time to like some more takes to really get it right. And they switched it on right away, and with every take they gave me the same amount that I needed, and it was kind of a wonderful thing to have for your second movie and
yeah.
this much pressure.
And were you worried about like the time? Because it's really just like it's like 90% of it is in like one look. It's in the apartment,
Hmm.
two actors, and it's 25 minutes, but it works. But were you worried about the pacing, the tone of it?
Um, somewhat. I'd say it's all in the script, and it's funny because the script is actually 13 pages. It's just that, you know, I like movies that kind of take their time in the shot.
Yeah,
Like I think we make an effort not to cut too much. Like we really like to focus on faces and like you said, I mean, like faces tell the story in this movie. So to me, it was important that it never felt rushed. It always felt like we were going through this with them.
yeah,
So as much I know the length is kind of long, but I don't think it feels that way because we're kind of going through this journey with them. And I'm super proud of like we try to find places to cut to, because
yeah.
to make it shorter because that's always ideal for festivals. But I just feel like if we had lost something, we would have lost some of the power in the movie. So, you just got to make the movie you want to make.
You're right. He does play the guitar, your actor.
Yeah, and sings. That's all him.
Yeah.
And he did it live right there. And he notes when we do Q&A that he wasn't looking at her, he was looking at me and my co-producer and the cameraman. So he was singing that lovely song to us.
She was gone for the day or something, or like she wasn't there.
No, it's just the way the camera was set up.
Yeah,
It just wasn't feasible to have her on the bed. Because it was from her point of view,
yeah.
and we shot it all like practical spacing and stuff in terms of the room. So yeah, she was out of the room for that. So he really brought it. Yeah,
Where was the apartment? Whose apartment was it?
it was mine,
Okay.
mine and my girlfriend. So uh,
You got the Bowie and Fleetwood Mac on the wall.
that was actually that was done for the movie.
Okay.
But we
You
are
still there on the wall, or did you take them off?
we took it down.
Okay.
We like the wall not as cluttered as the apartment in the movie, but we are both kind of bonded over Fleetwood Mac and ELO. So I wanted to put those posters up, and then I'm just a big Bowie fan, so I want to have some of everything on there from our relationship.
You're a fan of the 70s then.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, but I'm kind of just a fan of like rock in general. Like I was a big '90s rock kid because that kind of when I was growing up, and then the early 2000s when I was in college, so that was also a big era for me. So I appreciate all eras of rock. And, unfortunately, you can't use music from well-known artists because it just costs a ton of money. But I feel like the music that we put in there kind of emulates the kind of music that we like. So
So when he sings her to sleep, like she's
mhm.
still alive. Is she dead or she's still alive?
I'm gonna leave that up to
Okay.
you. Everyone has their own take on that. So I'm always like excited to hear like how people react to it and what they think happens because I think it's not to play the Christopher Nolan Inception card, but to me it kind of doesn't really matter. It's like to me it's the moment of acceptance that he's accepted this is going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
she's gonna have a good sleep. So
Yeah, and she got to hear the song, at least one more time before either things got worse or she passes at that moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, amazing job. So then you had another so Adrian, you have him credited as a creative producer in the film.
Yeah. Yeah, Adrian, really, really good friend of mine. And we both kind of love the same movies. So he was like the second one to read the script other than my partner. Um, and he was just in on day one. And we kind of talked about from the beginning, since he's also the editor. We had like just a long conversation about how we wanted the movie to, like the pacing and all that stuff, and the close up on faces from the beginning. And he was also on set to make sure that we'd gotten everything we needed for him in the cutting room floor. So he was just a kind of a pivotal process, and he was kind of the lead in post, because post was actually done in Mexico City because that's where he lives.
Okay.
And he had access to people that have worked on movies like Roma and Amores Perros. And we're both Latin too, so we kind of wanted to like keep it a bit Latin
Yeah.
in the head of the project. So yeah, he was obviously fundamental, and he also wrote um one of the songs when they go to the restaurant, when he's wheeling her to the restaurant. So without him, it was kind of just a shared vision on how we wanted this project to happen. And I'm a very collaborative director, so I'm always about ideas
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it was great to have someone kind of like a partner in crime to like help you execute such a like intense project.
So this was you helped get some funding from Seed and Spark. I haven't heard of Seed and Spark before. What is that?
Yeah, it's a crowdfunding site, specifically for indie filmmakers, and a lot of students from DePaul that I knew making films are using it. And yeah, it was great. I mean, they don't take a cut essentially of the money you get. So everything you make, you get to like keep.
Oh,
And
like
yeah,
GoFundMe and those ones they take a cut.
yeah, they take a cut. Like Kickstarter and with all
Kickstarter.
those. Yeah. So
What are they?
um
I'm just curious. What are the cut? How much cut do they take?
they take, I think, like 7%, which,
Really?
yeah, is a lot.
That
So
that adds up.
yeah, I produced a short film for a buddy of mine, and we used that, and we only made like we only made roughly like half of our goal.
Yeah.
So when we got the money, we got the money, it hurt because they took a lot of it. So I was like looking for a platform that wouldn't do that, because when you're fundraising, you're basically asking people that for money,
Yeah.
which is really hard. And it's a lot of work. So you want to keep the money that you make, and because you're going to need all of it.
You can kind
you
of do
know
it yourself, but
yeah.
it's like a lot of the funding comes from generally from I'm assuming the people that you know, people on your social networks, your family. It's
Yep.
funny that they like, why do you even need that site if they're taking 7%? So I'm just thinking out loud.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's just it's a way to get the word out there,
Yeah, yeah,
because it to just send personal videos to people
yeah,
asking for money is hard. But I think if you have a kind of a commercial for yourself, and not everyone's on Facebook, and not everyone has Venmo, not everyone has a way to give you money, and it's just kind of it's like it's a unfortunate in between for filmmakers, I think, that need to raise money to
yeah.
get the money they need. So
So the film's done. You got into some festivals. You're doing okay. You're doing well. And so
yeah.
assuming what's next for you?
Yeah, so I'm thinking I want to, I've done the short, and I think I want to tackle a feature next. And that'll take the same amount of probably crowdfunding that I did for this, and a
Yeah,
lot more. But I really think that me and the team are ready to make a feature after this movie because I feel like this movie, even as a short, felt big and felt like a professional project that we can be proud of. So I feel like the next logical step for me is a feature. And I kind of wanted to write something about a Colombian family because I am Colombian, so I kind of wanted to like include my background in this next project.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, I wish you the best of luck with the project. I appreciate you coming on board.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great talking to you, and this festival was amazing, and the feedback that we got from the video was just like it was great. The people really took the time to like you know give like really thoughtful critiques on the movie, so we really appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime. So let's talk again. And let's do it again when you make your next film.
Awesome, sounds good.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too.